Saint-Saëns wrote a prodigious quantity of music, 169 opus numbers that include 13 operas, a dozen concertante scores, and a profusion of chamber and keyboard works. He is one of the best-known names in the 19th century French repertoire, but his reputation rests on a relatively small number of pieces, while outside his native country large portions of his output remain unexplored. With one exception, Jun Märkl's orchestral collection is made up of some of those unfamiliar works. Saint-Saëns' 4 symphonic poems, all from the 1870s, provide its spine, and among them is the well-known Danse Macabre, the third of the poems to be composed in 1874 and based on the legend of death appearing at midnight on Halloween. Liszt's 13 symphonic poems were the inevitable model. However, with the exception of the last, La Jeunesse, none of Saint-Saëns' quartet has the heft of Liszt's examples, and certainly none has the symphonic ambitions of some of the orchestral poems produced at more or less the same time by César Franck. There's nothing here to match the dramatic power of Franck's La Chasse Maudite. This is charming rather than stirring music. Even the Danse Macabre doesn't really conjure more than the mildest frisson. But as always with Saint-Saëns, everything is crafted with immense skill and facility, whether it's the depiction of the events in Le Roi d'Omphale, with its spinning wheel figurations, or the pounding hooves of the wild horses in Phaeton. The musical descriptions are brilliant even if there is not always a great deal of substance behind them. The performances from the Lille Orchestra are lissom and deft, and Märkl never attempts to overload his reading with portentousness. The 4 symphonic poems are interspersed with a suitably rousing marche héroïque composed during the Siege of Paris in 1870. And, more interestingly, a sarabande and rigaudin from the 1890s, which Saint-Saëns wrote for his new edition of Charpentier's Comédie pour la Malade Imaginaire. Like everything here, they are immaculately polished miniatures, which do exactly what they are intended to do.